In this video, we're going to talk about my book haul from New York City. Check this out. Today, I'm just in my library. It's a nice fall day. I thought it'd be a good day to show my book haul before I have my one last tea time. For all those new to my channel, welcome to my channel. I post videos on how to increase your vibration, how to increase your peace, and how to increase your joyful life. I also share different books I buy, my book hauls, spirituality, self-transformation, the new self-help, self-help, personal development, occult, esoteric, anything that's out there, yet anything that'll help you grow as a person. So today I want to share my book haul that I got when I was in Manhattan last month. And it was awesome because I live in Canada, so I don't have the Barnes and Nobles like they do in the States. Also, it's New York City. They have access to like all the books. It's like one of the biggest cities in the world, one of the wealthiest places in the world, and it's so cool to see the book selection I was able to get there. So the first book I got was, and I've had books from this author as well, Manly Hall. He writes a lot of books on Freemasonry, esoteric, secret societies. And this one right here is called The Secret Destiny of America. The Secret Destiny of America and America's Assignments with Destiny. So far I've read a few pages. I thought it was so cool. I was reading it within America. It has a lot of interesting details in this book, specifically on details of how North America specifically, there were people there, of course, before Christopher Columbus, but there was a whole different society, a high-ranking society back then. It says in his book, there's a lot of different countries who actually visited America before Christopher Columbus did. I think the only difference was that Christopher Columbus exposed it to the West. It's already so far a really good book. It even shows like different maps. And I thought this was so cool. It even talks about ancient Egypt, the world's first democratic country. And it's hard to say that now just because, things going on there now, but Egypt was at the top of its game back then. They even have a picture of a pharaoh, Akhenaten, where he was the first record man in history who believed in social consciousness and even had the picture of himself with his 2 daughters and his wife. Usually it's just on his own. So I thought that was interesting how they talked about that. I think they brought that up because it was about democracy and how America was focused on democracy and capitalism. But looking forward to finish this. It's another good book by Manly P. Hall. The next book I got is the Hermetica, The Lost Wisdom of the Pharaohs. Again, when I was at Barnes & Noble, I literally went there by myself. My wife was still, and my friends were still in the hotel. So I'm like, you know what? It was just down the street. And I loved it. I was able to walk down the aisle and whatever book popped out at me and I was like, I had a feeling to read it, that's what I bought. So luckily I was able to buy all these books. I just want to take a moment of gratitude to be able to, one, afford books. Also, if you can't afford like getting books right away, there's like the library, right? At least you're knowing about these titles. The second one is being able to understand the book. And the third one is actually being open to these self-transformation books, this knowledge. I mean, this knowledge can be like 20 years of someone's, like the author. I'm not saying this specific one, but one book has so much knowledge from the author's experience, things that they had to go through. And it can cost, like, if you go to used bookstore, $1 to $2, and sometimes just $20, and you learn so much. So I just value books so much, even if just like 1 or 2 items I get in it. So I thought about this book because it reminded me of the Pavlina, Hermetic Philosophy. I brought this book specifically when I was in Egypt. Pretty cool. It's a good book. Read that one too. It's on mindset. And another one was The Emerald Tablets of Hermes. This is more of the Greek viewpoint, and the Pavlina is more of the Egyptian. And I found it very interesting how they both have like the same kind of story. One is just in Greek, ancient Greek, and one is in ancient Egyptian. Ancient Egyptian was older, so ancient Greeks believed in that as well. Looking forward to reading this, The Lost Wisdom of the Pharaohs. I did start reading it and it was really close to what this is, but I like how different books and different authors have different viewpoints on the teachings. The next book is How to Attract Money. It's by Joseph Murray, the individual who wrote The Power of the Subconscious Mind. And that was one of the first books I read when I went into this personal development journey, reading books over 20 years ago. And this already is so good. Like it's a small little thin book, if you see that. And it literally, cost me $10 US, but I felt like I already made my money back just because there's one thing just because like all the knowledge here, and you're reading these knowledge books to help increase your vibration and your mindset. All that is necessary to express happiness and prosperity is to feel happy and prosperous. The feeling of wealth produces wealth. State of consciousness manifests themselves. And again, all these books, I'm going to do a 5 best idea. I've been falling a bit behind on all the 5 best idea books I've been doing just because I've been getting so many. I'm just loving my book hauls. But I am going to share that with everyone just because it's great knowledge. What's another one? A pain in your shoulder is a blessing in disguise. It tells you to do something about it. If there was no pain and no indication of trouble, your arm might fall off on the street. So it was interesting how they mentioned that, because the analogy I've heard about when things go wrong, especially with your car, you know, if the engine light goes off, you go take it to a mechanic. But when it's something that's within yourself, with your mind or your body, sometimes you don't want to go see like a doctor or something like that, or you don't want to get help, or you don't even want to help yourself. You just ignore it. But not just with pain, but also like things coming into your life that are painful. It's an indicator that you can't hold on to that for too long. And that's something I've learned the last few years, is you can't hold on to that because it was an indicator the universe sent you that you had to go through to make you grow to a better person, to live in light and love. Isn't that cool? I felt like I downloaded that from like a higher being. Probably Zora. For all those who know, Zora is my spiritual guide. The next book I got was, I was at the Met. It was one of my dreams to always go to the Met. I've been to New York before years ago, but I wasn't able to go to Met that first time. And it was a dream come true. I mean, this was the closest museum I could get to for actual, real, authentic ancient Egyptian artifacts. Apparently in North America, it's the only place in North America, unless it's changed, where it has ancient Egyptian artifacts. And it was just amazing to see, just because I was just in Egypt last year. Not only that, seeing the Asian, all the history, it is honestly one of the best museums I've seen in North America. I felt like I was in Europe. I felt like I was in Africa. So it was just so amazing. That's why I got this book, Why the Musing Matters, by Daniel H. Weiss. I believe he is one of the board or CEOs of the Met. So far, it's amazing because it talks about how in ancient history, like Alexandria time, when came to Alexander the Great, all those times, they were creating their own museums by holding on to this knowledge. Some were even hiding it in caves. When I was in Taiwan, what they did when the Chinese, this was years ago, when the Chinese came in to invade, they actually got a bunch of their scrolls. This is what one of the guides told us there at the museum, the main museum in Taiwan. They actually hid them deep, 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 deep into the mountains where like no one could go. And the Chinese armies didn't know about that. So when there was peace, they brought all those scrolls out. I don't think all of them are out actually, and back into the museum. It's a way to hold knowledge, history, and everything like that. And I didn't realize how important museums were. And I didn't realize why I'm so attracted to museums. Just amazing book so far. And the next book I got is one that I've always kept seeing in Amazon, and I didn't know it was an old book because it just had a newer look, and it looked like it was maybe someone who just printed it and just created an ebook. Because I like reading books from like real authors, not just ones that just like post because they get a ghostwriter, someone who writes them the book. I want from the real authentic information, because sometimes if you're given a book, I guess it's okay if it's like a fairy tale, things like that. But if it's like about knowledge and it's written by a ghostwriter from somewhere in another country who doesn't even know about the topic, like you're not really getting that knowledge. And so that's what my viewpoint is in this book, like in my channel, is when I do my 5 best ideas, I'm actually sharing you what I learned from that author in that book. Like it's not just like made up. Like it's their experiences, what they share. Now this is the book I want to share, is The Science of the Mind, and it was written in 1926. So this is the 1926 edition, because the one I saw online, it looked like it was a bit more thinner. Also, yeah, this is 2 books in one, but it just says it's the 1926 edition. I thought this book is amazing so far. I've been reading it, and this is what I got from MOMA, Museum of Modern Arts, my bookmark. I want to share my bookmarks in this one too, in this video, because I got a lot of cool bookmarks. So Starry Night by Vince Van Gogh. But back to this book. It's really, so they do talk a lot about God and just how important your mind is. And I think the 1926 edition, they've updated to more modern wording, but it is kind of hard to grasp. But I notice when I read it a bit faster, like rather than word for word, I'm reading it like 3 to 4 words at a time. I'm able to pick it up faster because I learned that technique. When speed reading is when you read not just word for word and thinking about it. That's a slow way. Your mind can read like so much more words at one time. And especially with this old knowledge, it was able to help me out and read it a bit faster. But yeah, it's really about mind and just the subconscious mind and just how everything is like revolved around what you think in your mind. The Science of the Mind. The next book I got is the Pleiadian Soul Healing, Light Messages for the Cosmic Freedom. Another one, this is one of the books that popped up in Barnes & Noble. And for any of those who watched my previous book hauls, I do really am attracted to the Pleiadian starseeds. So starseed is just like those who believe they come from essence of stars, which I believe like everyone does. They did it, like scientists did a test that people's DNAs, like human DNAs, they do have a little essence of starlight. So it's pretty cool that I found the Pleiadian. I have a few Pleiadian books. So Pleiadians are just starlight beings who focus on being benevolent, caring, loving, and just like being there for peace and love and joy. Excited to finish this book. I've been reading it as well. And I want to share this. So this is Bowman. I got this from this bookstore. It's called a rare bookstore. I got this bookmark there. It's free. Bowman Rare Books. It was in New York City, and it's the most expensive books I've seen like in real life. I've only seen these kind of books in like Robb Report, the DuPont Registry magazines, but I saw a book that was like this thick. I think it was like the first like Charles Darwin book, and he signed it. It was 125,000 US. I just amazed by these books. Like, boy, books are just, if that was one thing that I had and I was like such a wealthy person, I would actually collect these expensive books. And I did leave my name for The Law of Success in 16 Lessons because I thought that would be so cool if I got a signed copy. But so far, book so good. Been starring it. And the one thing here is that I think the one that they shared here is the dark beings perform actions specifically during times when human community is caught up on certain global events and inhabitants of Earth are emotionally shaken. When it comes to like wars or anything like that, they're kind of saying that there are dark beings and they do try to come and like disrupt Earth through like dark energy. And then the Pleiadians and the starseeds are trying to bring in more light. Another thing they said is holographic programs are used, which are fed directly into human beings' personal systems. These programs in the minds of human beings are transferred via energetic imprints. And when I was reading that, I thought about energetic imprints. I was like, one way is social media, is TV, news, radio, negativity. So that's why you got to be really mindful of what you let into your mind. Like my wife has been deleting her social media apps. I use a thing called Screen Zen where I use less of social media, and it's really helped me out. I'd rather read a book and learn so much more than participate in more of the negative collective consciousness when I can help myself and that can help the world. Because you are light and love. Because when you brighten your mind, you brighten your life and you brighten the world. Also, if you have not yet, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Liking, subscribing, and turning on notifications really helps to get this information out to people who need it the most. This is one way to help brighten the mind, brighten your life, to brighten your world. Subscribe now. Another book I got was The Abstract Blue from MOMA. The MOMA is Museum of Modern Art in New York. It's just one of the coolest places where you can just see cool art that is so modern. I got this postcard and it was like my favorite picture, like color. And it was by Marc Chagall from Belarus. I don't know, I thought it was so cool. I think it's the colors, but also there's a lamb and I just realized that there's a face there. Yeah, it's so cool. There's a lot of cool pictures of there, and I just wanted to pick up these books because reading about the modern and the color and the meaning, and then learning about in MOMA how art, it brings out a story. And not only that, it's so important to keep the art because art gives history in pictures. Paintings from the 1700s, 1800s, it's like what they saw at that time when there's no photography. I didn't realize I didn't appreciate art as much. So yeah, I really appreciated MOMA. And the last book I got was from MOMA again, is The Moon. This is just an author who made paintings that were just like, it's different styles. Like the other one was just more like boxy, but these are more like ovally. I just think it's so cool how authors have a different way of how they express themselves or paint, and it's just amazing. The colors, I think the colors bring it out. I just wanted to show some of the bookmarks I got. So New York City, there's that one, another New York City. I also collect bookmarks when I'm traveling. Another cool, this one is this a Picasso? Yeah, Picasso. This is Austrian. We actually saw this in Vienna, like this painting. And it's so cool to see. It's a famous one by Gustav Klimt. And then Monet. Thought that was cool. I actually thought Monet was a girl, but it's a boy, Claude Monet. So. And then one of the coolest ones I got at the Met. Everything in the universe is within you. So remember that. Thanks for watching my book haul. See you in the next video.